Hi, welcome to another episode of Cooking with OB. Today we're going to be making a raspberry and white chocolate tray bake. So let's see how it goes. So we've preheated the oven to 160 degrees. We've got our baking tin ready, and of course we wash our hands. What you'll need for today's recipe is 375 grams of ready to go short crust pastry, 500 grams of mascarpone cheese, 100 grams of caster sugar, 100 grams of ground almonds, 2 large eggs, 250 grams of fresh raspberries, and 100 grams of white chocolate. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is take our short crust pastry and lie that out on a board or flat surface that we've just sprinkled with flour to stop it sticking. We're going to roll this a little flatter so that it fits on our baking tin. Now if you have a rolling pin, perfect. If you don't, a large bottle will also work. Put some water in it so it's nice and heavy, and then cover it in flour so that you can roll it out and flatten everything as you go. So once you've got your pastry nice and flat, we're going to move it to line the tin. Now, top tip when you're moving the pastry, if you take your rolling pin or bottle and you roll the pastry back over it, that makes it real easy to pick up and take to your tin, where we can drape it over and then line it. Once it's over your tin, just gently let it fold in and push it into the corners and down the sides so that you have maximum amount of space in there when we add the rest of the ingredients. Lovely. From there, we're then going to line this with some baking paper. So straight in on the top. And again, gently push that down into the corners. Now, if you do a lot of this and you have some baking beans, now's a great time to get them out. If not, then maybe you have some lentils or dal that you don't need or is going out, and you can just put that in the bottom just to add a little bit of weight while it's cooking and keep the paper in place. Okay, this stage, one more bit, we're just going to trim the edges around the tin just so we haven't got so much pastry overlying. And then we're going to put all of this in the oven for 10 minutes just to harden the pastry a little bit. So while our pastry is cooking, we're going to mix the rest of the ingredients. So we take our mascarpone, our sugar, and our almonds. And we whisk those together. If you're fortunate enough to have an electric whisk, that's going to make this a lot faster. Otherwise, like me, you might just have to go old school using a whisk or a fork just to get everything mixed in and blended nicely together. Cool. Lovely, and then next we're adding our 2 eggs into the mixture. And we continue whisking to get those added in as well. And lastly, for this bit, we add in our chocolate, which you'll see I've cut into smaller chunks just so it disperses throughout the mixture, and our raspberries. And all we're going to do is tip both of those in, get everything in there, and our berries, and then fold that in. And we can literally just mix that around. So after being in the oven for 10 minutes, it's time for our pastry to emerge. Now, of course we want to get rid of our beans. Mind your fingers, that's hot. And then we're just going to pour our mixture into our now slightly cooked pastry. The final thing left to do is to put everything back in the oven for a further 20 to 25 minutes until lightly golden. So once lightly golden on top, as you see here, then we're just going to leave it in the oven with the door open for probably about 15 minutes just to let it cool and set a little bit more. Once it's had that 15 minutes to cool, then we can take it out, just leave it for another 5 minutes on the side, and then we can cut it up and enjoy. So, our first attempt turned out pretty well. Top tip is when you're leaving it to cool, having got it out of the oven, is also stick it in the fridge just to really let it firm up. Definitely worked for us. So let us know how yours turns out, again, by leaving a message in the box below or taking a picture. I'm going to go and enjoy this. So until next time, stay safe and ma salama.